Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all have been staying entertained and well sanitized during these times. I want to extend a warm welcome on behalf of Lake Hamilton's historic class of 2020 to all of our viewers that, much like the class, have been swarmed with anxiety, hoping that each student is appropriately honored for their achievements. While this is not what anyone expected 9 months ago, I, along with many others, are very thankful for the hard work that this administration has done to make sure this ceremony is as normal as possible. I want to take a little trip back in time with my classmates. 18 or 19 years ago, we were brought into the world at a historic era in American history. America was attempting to recover from the terroristic attacks of 9/11. A handful of us were alive during the actual attacks, but the effects of these attacks were felt throughout our entire childhood and into our early education. Now think of 13 years ago, our kindergarten graduation. This was the first time class of 2020 was introduced to us, and it was only 2007, just 13 years ago. At the time, 2020 felt impossible. We never realized just how fast it would come. Now, let's think back to May 2011. Many of us were about to finish 3rd grade and move to the intermediate school. This was a really big jump because we now had 3 teachers instead of 1, and we got our first 3-on-3 basketball tournament. Many of our passions for school were also developed in this building. The next stop was middle school. So much was new. We had lockers, 7 class periods, band, school-sanctioned athletics, heartbreaks, relationships, friendships, and the list just goes on. Most importantly, we had many lifelong memories. And then all of a sudden, we were in junior high, just one stop from our final destination. At the junior high, we had our first dance, despite the strict no PDA rules, and we had to hide in the bathroom to call our parents. It was awesome. And then before we realized it, we were in the high school. Now, I want you to think back to only 9 months ago, to August of 2019. It was our year. We were the big dogs on campus, and nothing was going to get in our way. Everything was perfect, and we only had one goal: beat Lakeside. After what turned out to be a terrific season in all of our fall athletics, as well as a wonderful season with our band and performing arts, we knew this was our year. We were the class of 2020, and it was our mission to be the best class this high school had ever seen. We were just planning a senior prank, a senior skip day, and a senior sleepover that would have left our mark on Lake Hamilton High School and solidified our spot as the best class this high school had ever seen, and then boom, the invisible enemy hit. You see, time has this weird thing where the future feels so far away, and the past feels like it was just yesterday. And I have no doubt this is how the rest of our lives will be. Class of 2020, we have only lived less than a quarter of our lives, and what we do from here is our choice. We decide who we want to be, what we want to do, and how we want to live our life. And very soon, we will be the ones in charge of the world. And despite some worry from our grandparents, we are ready. You see, our class has really been going through it, and we've seen a lot in our short lives thus far. We are prepared for the challenges of the world because we are adaptable, innovative, compassionate, and resilient. We are the engineers, the doctors, the lawyers, the military, and the politicians. We are the future, and nothing, and I mean nothing, gets in our way if we don't let it. I, for one, could not be more excited for the future and what God has in store for each and every one of us. You guys are my family, and I truly mean this when I say it. I love each and every single one of you. If you ever find yourself in a situation and you think I could be of any help, please do not hesitate to contact me. And I truly mean that, because the relationships I've built in that building mean more to me than any piece of paper I could have ever received. And I can only hope many of you feel the same way. Now at this time, we will honor our country with a beautiful rendition of the national anthem presented by the one and only Mr. Chris Counts. Until next time, Matthew L.
To the Lake Hamilton High School class of 2020, congratulations, you've made it. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I extend our genuine and heartfelt compliments and best wishes on this wonderful achievement in an extraordinary year. This is not how it was supposed to end. You've missed the last 3 months of your senior year. You've missed hanging out with your friends and dreaming of one last summer together before you all go in different directions. You have lost experiences like competing in spring sports, the chance to attend senior prom, the last band or choir concert, and a final FFA banquet, and many more. We know the range of emotions you've experienced. You've been disappointed, upset, confused, and sad. I was reminded recently that you are not strangers to adversity. About 19 years ago, you were born into another turbulent time, when the world, following 9/11, was forced to adjust and change our way of life as a result of the worst terrorist attack our country has ever known. You have never known a world without international conflict. You were our first students who have always had to take off your shoes when going through airport security. You came into the world during a time of disorder, and disorder is now escorting you out of high school and pushing you into life beyond. You're accustomed to uncertainty, and you know how to handle unstable times. Maya Angelou once said, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. The insight here is that life is not always pleasant. We experience adversity and we learn from it. We learn about our character, our tenacity, and we learn to move on. Our actions and reactions at times of crisis define much of who we are. I am proud of your dedication and your resolve. I admire your ability to face adversity and keep moving forward. While it may not have been the senior year you had dreamed of, it has been your senior year, unique and distinctive. We've been required to do many things differently in these past 3 months, including this graduation ceremony. We've made efforts to make the ending to your senior year as special as possible in the midst of this health crisis. Among the ideas that have been circulated and many implemented, we believe we have determined a way for the Lake Hamilton High School class of 2020 to be further distinguished. At the suggestion of Mr. Westerman and the high school staff, I will be recommending to the Board of Directors later this month that the street, which runs in front of Lake Hamilton High School to the circle at Wolf Arena, be named in your honor, forever to be called the Class of 2020 Drive. We hope that you, together as a class, will be able to proceed down this newly named street in a July ceremony. Perhaps this will even become a tradition for the classes that follow. In this way, you will have left a legacy that no other Lake Hamilton High School group has ever accomplished, once again setting yourselves apart. You are the graduating class of 2020. You're also a part of our Lake Hamilton community. This will always be your home, regardless of where you end up studying, living, and working. We will enjoy watching you continue to learn and grow, and look forward to seeing you succeed in all that you choose to do. Good luck, and remember that you're always welcome here.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to the class of 2020. My name is Chase Elkin, and I'm very honored to be this year's alumni speaker. I graduated in 2010 as the class president, so this year would have been my class's 10-year reunion. But after months of planning and hard work, the event was canceled for obvious reasons. I'm sure you all can relate to this. So because of this and all the heartbreak, I think everyone's just trying to cheer me up and gave me this unbelievable privilege to speak with you all tonight. So I'd say that it all worked out in the end for me. All jokes aside, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this special night. I'm truly honored to be here, and I really hope I don't disappoint. I wanted to start off by telling you a little about myself and my connection to Lake Hamilton. I was a 13-year senior, and for the most part, I was a pretty average student. Got super excited for Chicken Nugget Day, played basketball when Coach A thought we were up by a safe enough margin, and I didn't care that much for Lakeside. Frankly, I still don't. But by the time senior year rolled around, things were different. I became captain of the soccer team, was voted Mr. Lake Hamilton, and won the class presidency. However, I still rode the bench for Coach A, though. I guess just some things just don't change. After high school, I went to college and graduated with degrees in biology and chemistry and attended medical school. I went from being an average kid at Lake Hamilton to an anesthesiology resident at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta. I tell you all this not to flex, but in hopes that you agree that I'm not the same person I was when I started high school. When I was first contacted about speaking tonight, I was asked to reflect on my time at Lake Hamilton and how it made me into the person I am today. Weirdly, and kind of embarrassingly, my mind went to Homer's Odyssey. Shout out Mr. Hugs. As I'm sure y'all remember, Odysseus leaves his son, Telemachus, in the care of a trusted individual while he goes to fight in the Trojan War. This individual was responsible for raising Telemachus while instilling skills and values that would help him achieve his own goals. The name of this individual was Mentor, from which we get the term used today. So it's mentorship. That's what I valued most during my time at Lake Hamilton. It wasn't the pep rallies or watching David Church rush for 1,000,000 yards to win the state championship. It was the dedication, the advice, the determination, and the patience of my mentors that has made me who I am today. It's kind of like I'm the rapper Drake, and I have had many Lil Waynes who took me under their wings and molded me into the professional that I have become. It's Mr. Birch who challenged me. It's Mr. Leonard who carved out extra time in his day when I was struggling with calculus. It's Miss Watts who encouraged me to pursue a degree in chemistry. It's Miss Ramsey who served as a source of wisdom. And because of these influential and selfless people, I can now echo Drake and say, started from Piercy, now I'm here. So whatever it is that you choose after high school, whether it be higher education, trade school, entering the workforce, or some other endeavor, remember your mentors and all the others who helped you and supported you along the way. After all, where would Eminem be without Dr. Dre, or LeBron without Jordan, or Zuckerberg without Steve Jobs? Some of the most influential people in my life mentored me during my time at Lake Hamilton. I'm sure some of you feel the same way, and others just might not know it yet. But because you're sitting here today, graduating from the best school in town, there's no doubt about your success is a product of your hard work, coupled with the guidance and support from the Lake Hamilton faculty. I'd like to close with this. When you find a mentor, don't be a vessel that just gets spoon-fed advice. Be an active participant and take initiative. Ask questions and be willing to accept any types and all types of criticism. And in the end, when you find yourself at the top of your field and being asked for guidance from an aspiring person, take a moment to thank all those who played a part in your successes and realize that you yourself had just been called upon to be someone else's mentor. I'd like to thank you again, and it truly has been an honor. And congratulations to the class of 2020.
Mr. Higginbotham, Board of Education, parents, friends, community, and of course, Lake Hamilton High School class of 2020. It is my distinct honor and humbling privilege to stand before you tonight as a representative of our most excellent Lake Hamilton High School staff, faculty, and administration. My role in this very first Lake Hamilton High School virtual graduation is to virtually present the very real class of 2020. In keeping with this idea of a virtual graduation ceremony, I spoke to the mother of all virtual voices, Siri, and I asked her what the purpose of a graduation ceremony is. I was informed that the purpose of a high school graduation ceremony is to celebrate students who have successfully met the requirements for graduation. So, tonight, as you watch the virtual graduation ceremony for the very real class of 2020, rest assured that this outstanding group of students has indeed met the requirements as set forth by the state of Arkansas and the Lake Hamilton School District Board of Education to be high school graduates. And I want to be among the first to tell you how proud I am of you for accomplishing this milestone in life. As a graduate of Lake Hamilton High School, you have earned something of value, and you should have a sense of accomplishment for having done this. On a personal level, I want to tell you that knowing your class has been one of my greatest joys in 30 years as an educator. Your energy, your attitude, your passion for excellence, and your beautiful hearts have left an enduring positive mark on me and our school. You, along with about 3.5 million other high school seniors in the United States, have experienced what might be the most bizarre finish to a school year our country has ever known. Who, in their wildest dreams, would have imagined that when you left school a week early before spring break, that you would never return to the inside of the high school building as a student? Who would have imagined that for many of you, your spring sports season would end after only a couple of competitions? Who would have imagined that the East Conference, Winter Winds, FFA State Convention, Seussical the Musical, the unofficial Senior Skip Day, Senior Play Day, CTE Completer Ceremony, Top 25 Awards Ceremony, and what I am sure would have been an incredible senior prank, who would have imagined these events would never happen? What a crazy way to end your senior year. It is with these recent events in mind that I share a thought from one of my favorite authors. Stu Weber, in his book Tender Warrior, said this: people, events, evil schemes, disasters, catastrophes can take things away from you, things on the outside, but no one can take away what's on the inside. Heart, soul, character. You can throw it away, but no one can ever take it away. I truly feel bad for you. I'm sad for you. I'm highly disappointed for you. I wish that a week ago tonight we would have been together in the Bank OZK Arena celebrating your graduation. I hope that we're able to come together in July for a live event on the Lake Hamilton campus
where we will recognize your collective and individual accomplishments. But, class of 2020, you're breathing some rare air right now. You see, your class is one of a very few other graduating senior classes in the history of public education in the United States that's experienced firsthand two difficult realities of life. The first is that life is not always fair, and the second is that things happen, sometimes bad things, that we have absolutely no control over. Years ago, I heard a man named Chuck Swindoll say that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. What you do in life when things get hard, when adversity strikes, when you experience setbacks and crushed dreams, when the things you have looked forward to since kindergarten are suddenly taken away because of a pandemic. What you do when unfair events that you have no control over occur will either make you or break you. The history of our country is filled with story after story after story of common people who faced incredible bad circumstances and allowed those experiences to make them and not break them. I'm reminded of my grandmother's generation, the one Tom Brokaw called the greatest generation, who survived the Great Depression and then, as young adults, banded together and selflessly fought to protect people in other countries from the likes of Hitler and Mussolini during World War II. When adversity strikes, there are choices to make. Do you curl up in a ball and cry about your misfortune? Or do you square your shoulders, hold your head high, lean into your inner strength, trust in the Lord, and then use the bad situation as a motivation to move forward and turn your obstacle into an opportunity and your mess into a message? In the end, do you choose to become the victor and not the victim? There's an old saying that the same boiling water that softens the potato hardens the egg. It's about what you're made of, not the circumstances. Or, in other words, it's not about a virus hijacking the last semester of your senior year nearly as much as it is about how you react to your senior year being hijacked by a virus. Someone in this class will use this challenge to make our world a safer place. Someone in this class will see the challenges social distancing has created for our education system and find solutions that will eliminate the need for future Lake Hamilton classes to experience the kind of issues you've faced in the past 3 months. Someone in this class will take the experiences of the spring of 2020 and find solutions to the problems that created these experiences. I truly believe that in this class there will be some great lifetime accomplishments. I believe in you, class of 2020. You have made us proud with your accomplishments, and you have made us excited for the future that you soon will be leading us into. To conclude my remarks, I want to share some wisdom from a couple of very wise ladies. The first is Maya Angelou. She advised that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And the second piece of wisdom is one of Mother Teresa's favorites. People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you're successful, you win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds. think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but follow only top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you're going to get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you have anyway. Class of 2020, be kind. Love one another. Be careful with your words. Others first, self last is a formula for success. Always be humble and kind. Remember, social media can be the place where cowards go to denigrate others, or it can be a place where heroes go to edify and encourage. The Apostle Paul summed it up. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself. Not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of the others. God bless you on your journey, class of 2020. You are the future, and we're counting on you. There's a big world with unlimited opportunities and challenges out there waiting on you. Make us proud. Mr. Higginbotham, Board of Education, it is my distinct pleasure to present to you the 2020 senior class of Lake Hamilton High School as qualified candidates to receive their high school diplomas.
Colleen May Adair. Hope Lauren Adams. Joanna Michelle Adams. Adam Paul Albrecht. Corbin Pierce Alexander. Jasmine Tara Alexander. Kayla Nicole Ames. Joshua David Arnold. Nicholas Amir Arnold.
I was thinking about doing something funny, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to give a message to the class below me. Cherish these moments as long as you can. We out.
Magali Arvizu. William Peyton Hulsey Honor. Kyle Jacob Austin. Shania Leanne Austin.
Houston Scott Baber.
Brandon Alexander Baker. Edward James Barrett.
Dylan Anthony Baum.
Lainey Vicotrio Beeson. Torrance Bennett. Devin Wyatt Blythe. Kristen Faith Berm. Brittany Anne Marie Borger. Zachary Allen Bradley. Braden Tyler Broughton. Jade Marlene McKenna Brooke. Jacob Allen Brooks.
Hey guys, it's Jacob here. Right now, my plan is to go to Ohio and get to go and work with NASCAR and get to work with trucks.
Jesse John Brookshire, Rayleigh Elaine Brown, Samantha Marie Brown, Savannah Nicole Brown, Bo Robert Browning,
Hey guys, I'd like to thank my parents and everybody at Lake Hamilton School District for everything they've done, and I can't wait to fish with Drury Bass Team this fall, but in the meantime, I'm going to be on the lake.
Justin Lewis Bryant, Taylin Jade Bryant, Brenna Caitlin Burmester, Tess Marletta Butler, Carlos Javier Cadena, Kennedy Carolyn Campbell, Hector A. Campos, Haley Jace Cantrell, Jasmine Marie Carley, Nathaniel Lee Carter, Helena Renee Catania, Connor Alton Kaito Cheek, Braden Tucker Clark, Corey James Clark, Tavia Lynn Cobble, Amy Nicoletta Kofar, Neil Anthony Cole, Devin Anthony Collins, Shelby Rain Collins, Krista Danae Combs, Zachary White Cosgrove, Alexandria Jolie Counts, Justin Roy Andrew Cox, Stone Gage Crawford, Desiree McKinsey Page Cruz, Patrick Sean Dalton II, Victoria Sean Dalton, Kerrigan Rose Darnell, Abigail Lynn Dixon, Storm Gray Dykes, Bo Spencer Digby, Christopher Matthew Dixon, Carly Drew Dixon, Jared Allen Edgin,
Hi, my name is Jared Edgin. I've been at Lake Hamilton since 7th grade, and I'm so thankful for all my friends, family, and teachers that have helped me throughout the years.
Cameron Michael Edwards,
Thank you, my friends and family, for this memorable 13 years of school. Oh, it's been awesome. My future plans is to be a master electrician and to be a firefighter.
Colby Dylan Fitzhugh, Brad William Fletcher, Allison Mackenzie Fowler, Abigail Lee Frederick, Elena Victoria French, Abigail Catherine Gambarini, Nicholas Andrew Garner, Caitlin Jada Garrett, Tyler Hale Gates, Ashlyn Nicole Gear, Dylan Tyler George, Haddison Lorraine Gibson, Blaze Alexander Gifford, Damare Deshawn Gilbert, Dempsey Charles Gilbert, Ellie Kate Glover, Jackson Bray Gober, Alan Wendell Godwin Jr., Brennan Ray Gonzalez.
Plans after high school is to go to Arkansas Tech to study for computer science education. I'd like to thank my parents for helping me through these times, and God, thank you.
Spencer Scott Gracie, Christopher Brian Graham, Alexis Lauren Graves, Ashlane Nicole Graves, Isaac Ethan Graves, Aaliyah Mulan Gray, Lance Roger Green, Joseph Clint Grennan, Cassidy Ray Griffin, Jack Thomas Griffin, Courtney Ray Grizzard, Caitlin Sherry Gundy, Brooklyn May Guthrie, Pearson Paul Haffer, Tyler Matthew Hagan, Allison Catherine Hallbauer, Carson Monroe Hamilton, Luke Ryan Hand, Meg Catherine Harrison, Thomas Coleman Hartley, Cameron Michael Hartness, Brendan Earl Harvey, Jackson Ray Hawkins, Xavier Lee Heather, Jesselyn Lee Heckel, Peyton Hefner, Zachary William Helms, Peyton Joseph Henderson, Cade Gabriel Powell Hernandez, Nayeli Hernandez, Alyssa Grace Hill.
My senior year was awesome while it lasted. I'd like to thank all my friends that I made and my family. I plan on going to Oklahoma State University to study pre-veterinary medicine.
Elizabeth Tabora Hill, Malik K. Hill, Spencer Lee Hillard, Hunter Jackson Hinojosa, Jackson Peter Hoffel,
I want to thank my friends, teachers, and family for helping me graduate from Lake Hamilton, and I look forward to attending Southern Arkansas University for a business degree this fall.
Lindsay Lynn Huckabee, Gabriel Sebastian Hughes,
Rachel Jane Hulsey,
Kara Page Hunker, Bailey Chase Imming, Nathaniel Chase Inman, Brooklyn Noel Inscore, Christopher Patrick Irons, Hazley Michelle Irwin, Dylan Patrick Jackson, McKinley Faith Jackson, Connor Logan Jacoby,
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my nana, papa, and grandmom. I'd like to thank Miss Lynch and both my therapists, Miss Elizabeth Gibson and Miss Lauren Bolden.
Douglas Gandy Jenkins Jr., Jessica Meredith Jennings, Cole Edward Johnson, Jacob Edward Johnson, Robert Connor Jones, Lindsay Beth Jordan, Jack Stephen Keeling, Loic Mitia Keith, Caitlin Grace Kehoe, Zoe Lydia Rose Keys, Joseph Daniel Kilzer II, Emily Hai Yoon Kim, Vanessa Jade Kimple, Stockard Elaine King, Hannah Louise Kirk, Landon James Kitt, Andrew Warren Leemans, Brandon Chip Leckman, Deland Anthony Lewis, Marcus Xavier Lewis, Chase Andrew Lillard.
Thank you to the friends and family who helped me, supported me, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, the friends at school. Thank you all.
Jacob Hayden Lilly, Tiana Nicole Lindsay, Eddie Lee Lockridge III, Chance Allen Long, Carlos Brian Lopez, Lauren Elizabeth Loughton, Logan Matthew Lowe. Kindred Cameron Avery Lugo Ball. Garrett Paul Lynch. Garrett Michael Mahan. Robert Carter Mannett. Caleb Leroy Markle. Marley Ann Marovich. Ezekiel Aaron Martin. Kevin Klaus Martin. Mackenzie Nicole Mason. Yuritsa Mata. Alyssa Dawn Maxwell. Kylie Mae McCormick. Gabriella Celeste McPhee. Kenzie Elise McGee. Abigail Ray McMahon. Madison Elizabeth Mears. Megan Elizabeth Mears. Karen Esmeralda Melgar. Jonathan Mendoza. Brandy Marie Miles. Kingsley Ray Miller. Alexander Christian Milstead. James R. Parker Mims. Warren Allen Minton. Mallory Alexandria Mitchell.
Andrea Kareen Mogovan.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Mogovan. I'll be starting nursing school at National Park this fall, and I just wanted to thank my friends and family and the faculty at Lake Hamilton. Thank you.
Destiny Marie Moore. Micah Allen Leah Lee Moore. Anahi Morales. Jordy Morales. Luis Ruben Morales. Taylor Mackenzie Morgan. Andrew Garrett Morris.
Drew Morris, Lake Hamilton High School, class of 2020, also known as class of quarantine, and we made it.
Woo! Hayden Alexander Morrison. Emily Page Murray. Austin Lane Myers. Gage Corbin Nash. Lautayami Joseph Nasalai. Austin Ray Netterville.
My name is Austin Netterville. I plan to go to college, get a degree in music and business. I'd like to thank my friends and family for getting me here today, as well as my school for teaching me what's necessary.
Nathaniel Brock Newton. Valerie Myra Kathleen Newton. Hayden Lane Norman.
Hi, I'm Hayden Norman in the class of 2020 at Lake Hamilton High School. I'm ready for the next step in my life. Woo!
Nicole Marie Noss. Matthew Hartzell Ray Novak, Juliana Novakovic, Cheyenne Carolyn Knoll, Nicholas Lee Nye, Hallie Lynn Oliver, Joshua Michael Olson, Austin Taylor O'Neill, Caleb Nicholas Patty, Jeremy Keith Pakulak, David Samuel Parrish,
Here's to 2020 and the years to come.
Stephen Lane Pascuzzi Jr., Elijah Taylor Pavitt, Britton Cade Payton, Elizabeth Brooke Pearson, Jeremy Samuel Parrott, Bailey McCall Petty, Carson McKenna Petty, Isabella L. Pittman, Hannah Marie Porter, Jason Tamarcus Porter, Carrington Kennedy Powers, Rachel Marie Pruitt, Braden Gabriel Qualls,
Anna Karen Ramos,
Sebastian Mitchell Rankin, Marina Del Rey, Abby Ryan Reynolds, Luke Austin Rhodes, Christy Nicole Rice, McKenna Rain Richardson, Delaney Ann Ritchie, Hadley Drew Riley, Jessie Marie Rios, Jonathan Jeziel Rios, Juan Carlos Rios Jimenez, Matthew Cody Roberts, Camber Kaylin Rowe, Melina Giselle Romero, Mackenzie Elizabeth Rucker, Valeria Guadalupe Salazar, Adriana del Carmen Sanchez, Gabriel A. Sanchez, Jason Christopher Santusuoso, Alec Michael Savage, Catherine Lynn Scalzo, Kiana Madison Schmidt, Kylie J. Schroeder, Evelyn Grace Selby, Colton Lynn Sexton, Connor Abraham Shipman, Madison Nicole Seiss, Carol Nell Simmons, Lauren Elaine Sisson, Braden Kawika Smith, Caleb Andrew Smith, Marcus Van Smith, Noah T. Smith.
Thank you, Lake Hamilton, for the past 7 years of memories.
Caleb Alton Snyder, Molly Elizabeth Sorters, Hannah Michelle Sparks, Peyton Robin Spencer,
Jackson Russell Spigner,
Jacquiam Devontae Spittler,
I just want to take the time right now to thank everybody. You know what I'm saying? School was cool and all, but we out that bit now, you feel me?
Blake Hunt Stachey, Chase William Stachey, Logan Wright Stachey, Melody Christina Steyer, Caitlin Elise Stoker, Clifton Blake Stringfellow, Anna Isabel Stiers, Stanley James Swift IV, Erica Kaylin Tackett, Tristan Schuyler Tankersley, Jackson Ty Teeter, Ana Raquel Terrazas, Tyler Ryan Terry, Caleb Wayne Tiller, James Matthew Tomlin, Brianna Nicole Tracy Withers, Courtney Lynn Tuckerman, Elizabeth Thursey Turner, Landon Mitchell Tyler, Chandler Hayden Vaughn,
I just want to take this time to say thank you to Miss Lester, Miss Gilbert, my friends, and my family for always believing in me. I graduated.
Kyle Edward Vaughn, Juan Pablo Vega, Brianna Renee Wackaster, Deide Gracelyn Wagner, Kyra Shuriel Waller, Austin Wayne Ward, Dontarius Rodriguez Ware, Kanin Michaela Wasson, Alexis Nicole Watson, Jason Lee Watts.
Hi, I'm Jason Watts, and I would like to thank my family, friends, and faculty at Lake Hamilton High School for supporting me these last 4 years.
Mackenzie Claire Watts, Brooklyn Jade Wesolowski, Madison Paige Wiles, Trevor Matthew Wilkerson, Colby James Wilkie,
Hello, I am Colby Wilkie. I just want to thank all of my friends and family and my teachers for helping me get to where I am today. I love you all so, so much. Thank you. Signing out.
Elena Elise Willie, James Michael Williams, Bryce Lane Willis, Jared Tyler Wilson, Johnny Micah Winston,
My name is Johnny Winston, and I just want to thank my mom, my friends, and my family for helping me get through high school.
Autumn Jean Woods, Brandon Mitchell Wooten, Hunter Bryce Wright, Alexis Lachey Youngblood, Guadalupe Jocelyn Zavaleta, Brandon Juventino Cepeda, Deborah Seminas Libut,
Well, that just concluded the first ever Lake Hamilton High School virtual graduation processional. I'll invite you now, seniors, to turn your virtual tassel. You are a graduate. I was asked to speak by Mr. Westerman, and I really thought deeply about what I could tell the class of 2020. I'll say that the entire country, their heart goes out to you because we understand that you've missed a lot of important things that happen as you're a senior and you're going into adulthood. I would like to change that story and say that we didn't miss it, but we experienced it differently. And you will experience graduation. And you are going into the next phase of your life. It just so happens the means by which we do it have all changed. I'm not going to speak to you tonight about coronavirus and obviously the tragedy that it's had on our country. We're all well aware of that. You're well aware of that just by listening to me virtually speak to you tonight, which is not how this would normally go. But as I thought and I pondered, I said, what would be the best message I could leave the class of 2020? I kept coming back to one thought. What helps someone make a difference? What helps someone be successful? What helps someone go later in life and be the best that they can be? And I know a lot of my students would say that it's of course, brains. It's your brain power. It's how good a student you are. And of course, while I don't put those things aside, I'm going to challenge you tonight with the statement to say that the most important thing as you go into adulthood is to strive to keep your imagination. Now, I know that sounds weird, and you may say to yourself, well, what is imagination? Well, I'm not going to give you a Webster's dictionary definition. I'm going to give you my definition because I think it applies directly to each and every one of you. Imagination is believing things can be different and knowing that you must be that difference. I'll say that one more time and I'll continue to allude back to that phrase. is imagination, is believing things can be different and knowing you must be that difference. So as I thought about this, I thought about how do I portray the significance of having an imagination? And I thought it would be good to share with you some people in history that have changed the course of humanity in actions that they took. And they did it all with the simple belief and the will to maintain their imagination. I'll start first of all with Albert Einstein. Back in November 25th, in 1915, he announced his general theory of relativity. Of course, I have to start with a math person. And of course, Mr. Kiewak's going to give me a hard time because he's a physicist. I know, but the math people, of course, we adopt him as one of our own. Einstein was not just one of the most brilliant men to ever walk the planet, but he had an amazing imagination. To think to that level, to understand the world in a completely new way, was unheard of in his time. And Einstein at one point was quoted as saying that imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Einstein got it, and that was a brilliant man. He changed the way that every physicist, mathematician saw the modern physics and Isaac Newton, his physical laws, all of that was adapted and changed to fit Einstein's theory because he had imagination. As I keep going and we fast forward a little bit, I want to fast forward to 1928. A man by the name of Walt Disney. And for those of you that know me, I'm a huge Disney fan, of course. 1928, Walt had the idea for Mickey Mouse. In the 1930s, he would take his kids and he would take them to this place, Electric Park in Kansas City, Missouri. And they would ride all sorts of rides and they would have a great time. It was a theme park for the day. The problem was that Walt sat on a bench and he asked himself, why am I sitting here while the kids have all the fun? Immediately, he had the idea for a theme park where kids and adults could come together to have a fun experience. Now, I think what Walt realized is that, as a lot of us do as adults, that the world and the confines that the world puts on us sometimes will limit our imagination. Believe it or not, it was not until 1948, almost 10, 15 years later, that Walt finally sent a letter telling his production team to start designing Disneyland. He was an adult, and the problem in adulthood is we lose sight of the importance of our imagination. Let me tell you that Walt Disney, he said and was quoted as, every child is born blessed with a vivid imagination. But just as a muscle grows flabby with disuse, so the bright imagination of a child pales in later years if he ceases to exercise it. Unfortunately, when you step into adulthood, you're going to go into a world that has norms, that has rules. I'm not telling you to break those, but what I'm telling you is to think outside the box. You are destined, each and every one of you, for greatness. And greatness does not mean that you have 1 million followers on Instagram. Greatness does not mean that you have $1 million in your bank account. Greatness means that you have tried to help others and change the world for the better. I want to fast forward because I know some of you are thinking, I'm just a student in Piercy, Arkansas, graduating from Lake Hamilton High School. What difference can I make as an ordinary person? Well, I'll fast forward to December 1st of 1955. There was a 42-year-old woman by the name of Rosa Parks. She got onto a bus like she did nearly every day. All the white seats were taken at the front of the bus, so she sat directly behind in the middle of the bus. And as a white person entered the bus and demanded that she give up that seat and move to the back, her life in that moment changed. Because she decided that things didn't have to be the way they always were. I'll go back to the quote I said in the beginning. Imagination is believing that things can be different. Later in her life, Rosa Parks was asked about the whole incident. She said, I'd see the bus pass every day. But to me, that was a way of life. We had no choice but to accept what was custom. Rosa Parks was an everyday woman who decided that things could be different and that it was up to her to make that difference. As you know, hopefully you've learned in high school, as you know, Rosa Parks, her defining moment set off a spark that changed the civil rights movement from then on and gave birth to a nation of equality that you're blessed to live in these days. And I know what you're thinking, oh, why are you telling us about a bunch of old people? They don't really live anymore, and that doesn't mean anything to us. So I want to fast forward to someone that I'm sure you're well familiar with. A young lady, well, she's not so young anymore, but a woman by the name of J.K. Rowling. Most of you know kind of her story, so I'm not going to go through the whole story of her life, but you know, she was basically penniless, a single mother at the time, just striving to really make ends meet. She had the idea for Harry Potter as she went through some tragedy in her own life regarding her family and death, and that was her way of dealing with it. And she decided to take that opportunity and use it as something to change the world. Now, I know what you're saying. She wrote a good book. Well, she wrote a bunch of good books. How does that change the world? J.K. Rowling wrote a series of books that inspired your generation to read. Avid readers came out of simply that series. And even though I'm a math person, I have to admit that reading is by far the most powerful tool that we can teach you in high school. And it's one that'll make you successful in whatever you choose after this point in your life. J.K. Rowling was asked at one point in an interview, and she actually said that imagination is not only the uniquely human capacity to envision that which is not, similar to what I've said, and therefore the foundation of all invention and innovation. In its arguably most transformative and revelatory capacity, it is the power that enables us to empathize with humans whose experience we've never shared. That's why imagination makes the world a better place. And I'm telling you tonight that you have the power to change the world. Here again, I know that we've kind of dealt a lot with the struggle of coronavirus, and I promise not to get into the whole tragedy of what we've dealt with. But I want to fast forward and take you to a man in England who I'm sure you've heard the story by now. He's now 100 years old. And when he was 99, he sat down and he said, "What can I do? I'm feeble. I'm in a walker. I can barely move, but I want to help out the people in my country. Most of you know the story, so again, I won't go into much of the detail. The man's name was, I think it was Captain. He was an Army veteran for the United Kingdom. And I think it was Captain Tom Moore. And he decided to set out on a fundraising campaign where he would take his walker and make 100 laps around the garden outside his house. That's it. It just took a simple, innovative idea. Fast forward, of course, a little bit further, and he has now raised over $28 million to help the healthcare system in the United Kingdom. He understood the problems that we're dealing with, and when he was asked about coronavirus and the crippling effect it's having on his country, here's what he said. My message to the nation right now is tomorrow will be a good day. We will get through this and come out of it stronger, more united, and ready to face any challenge together. It's powerful words. It's words that you should take as you embark on the next stage in your life. I could go on and tell you numerous other people in history who have changed the world, and they've changed the world by simply applying imagination. As you sit there at your house, more than likely, watching this once-in-a-lifetime experience, not watching me, but watching virtual graduation, I want you to realize that you can make the difference. I will tell you that all the people who I've talked about tonight, their stories are written. They're done. They've changed the world. And I personally believe they've changed the world for the better. I ask you tonight, as you just saw the names of your fellow classmates and all the seniors who will graduate from Lake Hamilton High School, your story is not yet written. You still have a chance. You have a chance to make the world better. Muhammad Ali at one point said, "The man who has no imagination has no wings." I know it's cliche, but I have to say it. This is the one stage in your life, the one moment in time where I can truly tell you that the sky is the limit. Anything you desire can be yours. And I urge you, as you take the next stage in your life, to never lose sight of the importance of imagination. In a time when our country has needed it more than ever, and we've used it. And much like Captain Moore said, we will come out stronger. You will come out stronger, having gone through this experience. I want to leave you one more time with my quote. Imagination is believing that things can be different, and knowing that you must be that difference. Thank you, and I wish you the best of luck, seniors. I want to say that our virtual ceremony will conclude tonight with a presentation of the alma mater by the Power Band of Arkansas. Good night.